Howdy friends, this is Owen Thomas, and I play Twisted Fate in League of Legends, and you're listening to The Gaming Outsider. Only 2 jokers in the deck, and I get dealt you.
Greetings, programs, and welcome to episode 325 of The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community. It's Monday, December 14th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my friend, Zack Parkerson.
What's up, man?
Not much. And Chris Behrensmeyer.
It's nice. It's nice when all 3 of us are here together.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Speaking of 3 of us, our third one is Chris Behrensmeyer. What's up, man?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Good week?
It's a week.
I heard you tone it down a little bit. You only finished like 14 games this week instead of your usual 25.
No, I took a step back from playing as much as I did because I had some other stuff I had to get done this week.
Oh, really? Had to get some video game shelves built. Had to do some game hunting. Do anything non-video game related?
No,
yeah,
I don't.
Pretty much. Zach, how was your week, man?
I'm hearing a lot of excuses out of CB. My week's fine. I don't know. I'm here. I made it through another week, everyone.
You survived. Congratulations. We're in the last final throes of 2020.
We're getting there.
It's going to be insane. I had something cool to share with you guys. I know we're going to be talking about Christmas gifts and wish lists and stuff later on in our From the Outside In topic, but I received, maybe I should save it. No, I got to give a shout out right now. Brent Murray from Dairy House here in town, local ice cream shop. He actually was at R2V2 selling ice cream. One of the coolest guys in town, just super nice guy. Randomly texted me and asked me for my address the other day, but wouldn't tell me why. And lo and behold, a package arrived in my mailbox. He had sent me a gift that I thought was one of the most clever gifts I had ever seen. I didn't even know this was a thing that you could order and do. He sent me, you know, those little plastic containers they serve like ketchup and stuff in if you do takeout. You know, like the little
little ramekins.
Yeah, whatever. You work in food service, so you probably know better than I do. Several of those, all with different parts of a cocktail that all came in a little bag and a little recipe to mix them all together. I think there's enough for 4 cocktails. One of them is bourbon, one of them is cider, simple sugar, lemon, and a cinnamon stick. And just all this little package, and I just thought it was the sweetest thing. So I know it's not video game related, but I had to give a shout out to our local listener and do me a favor. Pick up some of his ice cream. I just found out that he sells ice cream at like 5 different locations in town, like Woodman's and Schnucks. Like his ice cream. In
town being Rockford, Illinois.
Rockford, Illinois. Yes. So if you live in Rockford, please buy some. He's got a new flavor like Santa's cookies that actually mixes up chocolate chips and chocolate chip cookies, which is really cool. So anyway, shout out to Brent. I just was very touched, and he wrote me a really nice card, and it was awesome. So thank you very much for that. But let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. Quite a bit to talk about this week. The Game Awards, plenty to talk about there. All kinds of awards, as well as new trailers. Kind of felt like a mini E3 with all the stuff they announced there. We got some new games coming to Xbox Game Pass, some pretty big titles. Halo Infinite has been delayed until fall of 2021. We've got an update on Tunic, a game that I know CB and I have been clamoring for quite a while. And also, EA is buying Codemasters for $1.2 billion. And then finally, we're getting another Mortal Kombat movie. This one coming to theaters and HBO Max in April. So, lots of things happening this week. Where would you guys like to start? I assume Game Awards.
I would have thought we would just knock the Tunic thing out for CB real quick.
Okay. CB, I really put that on there for CB because I know he's super stoked for that game.
Got excited. I was scrolling through our format and I was like, oh, Tunic?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the developer talked to Ryan McCaffrey over at IGN, and I read the article, but it didn't seem like a ton of information. No release date.
No, I mean, they just kind of asked the developer why they don't talk about it, and he, was talking about how he wants to preserve the mystery of Tunic, and he wants it to be a little bit like when you buy it, it's as though you went to a Blockbuster and you're like, oh, I'll rent this game, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wants you to have no idea what you're getting into, really. Which is kind of cool. It's admirable. It's not going to work in the age of the internet, I don't think, but
Yeah, word of
It's
mouth
cool.
is going to have to be huge for that. But if it's on Game Pass,
Yeah,
they'll get their money. So
That's true.
I'm really excited. I mean, it's a cute game. I've been waiting forever for it to get here, but still no release date.
do you think it'll happen this year? Do you think they'll just like drop it in like the next week or two? Or
Oh God, I want that to happen so bad.
that'd be a great little Christmas gift.
It would be.
Yeah. All right. Let's just jump right into it. I know we're all wanting to talk about the Game Awards. I don't want to go through every single award, but there were some notable stuff in here that just kind of stood out. Any of you want to start with any of that, or do you want me to just take it off here?
Well, can we just knock one thing out of the way?
Sure.
I'm so irritated that a game that is 2 years old won 2 awards.
Oh, Among Us?
Yes.
Yeah, that I didn't like that at all.
It's like the game has been out for forever, but it didn't get popular until this year. So that
mean,
counts?
Yeah, props to them for winning, but that was kind of not cool.
I mean, especially with like the cutoff dates being so arbitrary, right? Like Fallen Order wasn't eligible last year because it came out too late in November.
Uh-huh.
So it had to get nominated this year in one category as like a pity throw. You know, like or Cyberpunk, right? Is another example of a game that didn't get nominated for anything this year. So the fact that they have like all these rules about dates and then like, well, Among Us is popular enough, so who cares? Seems a little it's a little annoying.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're just awards, right?
Yeah, but if you have a rule,
Stick to
it feels like the rule got bent because it is so popular.
Yep. I agree.
You know what I mean?
It
It's
is
crap.
a clever little game, though, I will say.
Sure.
True.
They gave the award to the wrong Last of Us actress, but otherwise, pretty good year.
Yeah, you thought Ellie should have got it? Or not Ellie, but that's her character's name.
Ashley Johnson. Yeah, I think Ashley Johnson did more in that game with the character, even though I ended up liking Abby more.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Ellie had some powerful scenes, I would say.
I'd say Abby did as well. But,
Yeah.
I would have been really cool if they just said, you know what, we're going to do a joint award and just give it to both of them. Like, have them share it. Because they're friends. Like, that would have been a classic
right.
thing
They have a hit show together.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about best ongoing game going to No Man's Sky.
that blew. I was watching that, and I was like, they announced that No Man's Sky was on that list, and then I was like, how in the hell did that win?
Well, to be fair, none of us have played it since they've...
I have.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And-
If it exists, CB's played it. I forgot.
No,
Go ahead.
I love No Man's Sky. It's a fun game, but I don't think that I really don't think that should have won.
No?
I think it. All right, maybe I don't know if this means I'm wearing a tinfoil hat or not, but just with Games Media, who makes up most of the voting board of this,
Uh-huh.
the heads of many sites. I mean, there's been such a narrative of like the comeback story of No Man's Sky that it doesn't surprise me at all that Games Media like IGN or Polygon and stuff like that would vote for No Man's Sky just to really stick it to the gamers, how much this game was really a redemption story. I don't know how, with what Fortnite's doing, it couldn't win. I don't like Fortnite. In fact, I think it kind of sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems almost it's almost
Yeah, but then you come down to what's the award for? Because if it's just popularity, then you could say the same thing about Among Us. Just
right.
because
Well, Among
it's
Us
popular,
shouldn't
passes the
Among
rules.
Us, it's 2018. I mean, whatever. Again, ultimately, it's just an award. It's just when No Man's Sky won, I was like, yeah, of course it did. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we know who votes.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was actually pleasantly surprised to see Tony Hawk took the sports racing game. Even though I'm not like a massive fan of that, just how highly everybody talked about that game. Just loving it. It's just a game that I'm terrible at.
Yeah, but
I'll
look
never
what it
be
was
good at that game.
Honestly, look what it was up against.
Yeah, I couldn't even think there wasn't even a Forza Horizon game this year, was there?
Yeah, I mean, you look at everything else. It's like, oh, do you want to talk about Madden from last year? That was
Right.
just a new label was slapped on it.
Right. Best art direction going to Ghost of Tsushima. The first hour of that game looked beautiful. that's all I got
Yeah.
before I bricked my PS4.
Yep.
Unreal.
I'm actually really happy that Ghost got a little bit of love.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was
It
actually
won
kind of
the,
expecting that one to get director as well. Isn't there a just regular direction? Or no?
Best game direction, right?
Yeah. Well, that went to
best-
Last of Us
best-
Part 2.
Best art direction went to Ghost.
Yeah, art direction.
And then player's voice.
Was Ghost of Tsushima, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and like a little bit of a landslide, even.
What's that mean? Just like players voted for that? Like if they instead of voted
The
That's
audience's game of the year was Ghost of Tsushima
So
by
I really need to play that game.
a wide margin.
I got 2 weeks left to finish Ghost of Tsushima. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, it really is.
All right. Best role playing game? Final Fantasy VII.
Odds.
No shocker.
I couldn't think of anything else.
It
I don't
should
even remember
have
what was on
won
the list.
Should have won more categories.
I was surprised that was the only one it won. Last of Us 2 all over the place. Best narrative. Obviously the best performance. What else we got here? Best audio design. Innovation in accessibility. That was one of the first games I played where you turn it on and it lets you, like if you're visually impaired, you can just do speak. I thought that was cool.
It does. It
Best-
holds the Able Gamers record for it has the most accessibility options video game ever.
Wow.
So it should win.
Yeah, best game direction, and then obviously the coveted game of the year, which was funny because at that point, nobody else stood a chance, right? I mean,
No.
No.
I mean, they even in the pre-show, I can't remember her name, but she talked about how every best action adventure game in the last 3 years goes on to win game of the year,
mhm,
and then it happened again.
pretty much. Well, can we talk about that pre-show, by the way? Like, they're just giving award after award after award, and then in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, it says, the Game Award starts in 9 minutes and 45 seconds. Like why are we giving awards before the awards show?
And then obviously, the most important trailer, Near Replicant, was in the pre-show.
Yeah. And
Well, I mean, you look at the Academy Awards. A lot of the awards are not given at the Academy Awards anymore.
That's true. And I know we missed some of the awards here, but props to Jeff Keighley and the team for what they put together. That was insanely well produced. And I don't really know that I noticed any technical hiccups or anything other than like some of the developers had shoddy cameras or microphones, which is weird to me.
Right.
Yeah.
The funniest webcam moment to me was when No Man's Sky won for best ongoing game, and Sean Murray was like in the middle of drinking a beer because it seemed pretty obvious. He was like, "Yeah, this is not going to me."
Yep.
And he had to catch himself. It was funny.
Yeah.
There was the one from Last of Us 2 where the one guy was sitting at his desk, and there was another. The other person was like standing outside a window.
Yep.
With the window shut.
With
I'm
her
like,
mask hanging from her. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, this is it. That and I really didn't care for the applause track. I'm like, we know there's nobody in the studio, man.
Yeah, but I think it's almost like a transition sound that you need in your brain.
Yep. That's why they have a live audience when they do those things.
Play me some video game music.
I just don't think it would work. I don't think your brain would notice that being more off, I think, than the applause.
I think so too.
But I think this is, in terms of flow, is one of the better years. The show, I think, remains too long, personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hate that random directors like Christopher Nolan and actresses like Gal Gadot, or that these random celebrities are giving away awards.
They have nothing to do with gaming.
Yeah, I was thinking about imagine the Academy Award brings out Stephen King to give best music score.
Right.
It would be so random and weird.
Like, there's not enough people in the gaming industry that you could get up there to do the award.
Yeah, right. There are not enough employees at Naughty Dog who can whip out a speech. It's like, get Corey Barlog on stage. Get Tim Schafer to announce the awards. Get our celebrities up there on stage.
Yeah,
no one is tuning in or tuning out based on whether or not Tom Holland is there.
Well, Tom Holland I can see a little bit because the Uncharted movie.
Yeah, I will give you Tom Holland, but just as an example of no one is making their viewing habits of the Game Awards based on which celebrities are there.
Right.
So prop up our people, get our people into celebrity status.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't Amy Hennig giving about the award for best narrative after everything she's done?
Or don't they do that in the Academy Awards for like best actor? Don't they have the award presented by last year's winner?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
You would know better than me.
Yeah, so which is, I always thought was like a nice touch that they like, not that they were actually passing it on, because they still get to keep their Oscar or whatever, but it's kind of like they're passing it on to the next actor, which I always thought was a cool tradition. Why can't that be a thing in gaming from each category?
Yeah. Have Laura Bailey give out the award next year for best performance.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're gonna pull in movie or TV stars, do ones that like everybody knows are prolific gamers. Terry Crews.
Right.
See, it still annoys the hell out of me, but I get what you're saying.
I would rather have somebody from the industry than a.
I agree.
If it was going to be a celebrity, I think you're right that you like get Tom Holland because he's Nathan Drake now.
Mm-hmm.
Where
like
you
Gal
get
Gadot's Wonder Woman hasn't. Have we had a Wonder Woman game?
No. Embarrassingly, never actually.
Yeah.
I will still say though, I was rereading this list right now, and I never thought I would see the day where Among Us and Hades both won more awards than Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I have a weird thing about really remakes. Anyway, I understand that it's a brand new game. It's not just a remake, but
yeah, I mean, I was just Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is weirder than FF7 remake because
yeah, that's true.
FF7 remakes, similarities to FF7 are skin deep,
right? Whereas
at most,
Tony Hawk is the same game, just redone. Levels are exactly the same, and all
right. That. FF7 is a totally different game.
So that's the awards. Let's move on and talk about some of the reveals that we had. We had a lot more than I was expecting. I know that we kind of expect reveals at this time of year, but I wasn't expecting this many. And kudos to CB for covering it for us on our Facebook page because I was not able to, and it made prepping for the show a lot easier. But I just want to start off with the way they opened it, which kind of cracked me up. New character in Smash Brothers, which I just keep waiting for Waluigi because the community just wants Waluigi so bad for some reason. It's almost become an internet joke.
I think it's just because he's the only Mario character not in there.
Right? Well, is Wario in there?
Yeah.
He farts.
Okay. But anyway, we're getting Sephiroth, which that's a big deal. That Sephiroth is. I mean, I know Cloud is there already, but it's pretty cool.
The memes have been great.
Dude, the shot in the trailer when he stabbed Mario, and it looks like Sephiroth's sword is like whatever you call that thing. It looks like a giant katana, like a really long, thin katana, stabbing Mario through the chest, and then they zoom in and it's like, oh, it's just got him hooked on his overalls or whatever.
That felt like almost like a Disney movie move. It was kind of cute.
Yeah. I like that.
His sword is a Masamune, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah, it's a Masamune.
Okay.
Masamune.
I want to make sure my nerd credentials were still active.
I'm actually laughing over the fact that Kirby can become Sephiroth now.
Oh.
So now he can become a sexy femboy.
So that's what I just got to mention one more because I can't decide if I'm excited about this. We get this long trailer for a new game from the Initiative. And we don't realize it until the final shot. They said Agent Dark.
My eyes when I saw the DD logo for Datadyne, I couldn't believe my eyes, man. I was so excited. I was like, this cannot be Perfect Dark. And there it was.
Thank God. I've actually been waiting for a new Perfect Dark game for a long time.
I love both those games.
I didn't care for Zero that much.
And there's even a bizarrely good tie-in novel that bridges the gap between them. From comic book writer Greg Rucka, co-creator of Batwoman, comes Perfect Dark is like some dumb tie-in novel that was actually great.
Nice. So a new Perfect Dark game. The last one we had was 360 era? Perfect Dark Zero? It was a launch title, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it's been 2 generations since we've had a Perfect Dark game, which is weird because, granted, I didn't finish either game. You guys liked them a lot better than I did. But it just seems like such a perfect series for more entries.
They're both on the Rare Replay.
That's true.
Rare. Yeah.
You can get that for like $5 now.
When I was a teenager, when Perfect Dark Zero came out, I was like, this is the perfect woman.
Right here. Really?
I really like her hair.
Even better than Lara Croft?
Yeah. I mean, in terms of bangability.
Oh.
Yeah. To keep it PG over here.
Gotcha. So that's the first thing that stood out to me. I know we got a lot to go, but what stood out to you guys?
Left 4 Dead 3.
See, I said like CB and I feel like had a little back and forth there on the Discord about.
You did.
Yeah. I mean, to be perfectly honest, that is Left 4 Dead 3. I don't care what you call it. It is Left 4 Dead 3.
It almost seemed as if they were like daring Valve to sue them. That's how close it looks.
Not only like even the enemy models, like everything in that trailer, I'm like, this is Left 4 Dead, guys. Like, don't lie to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the game
Valve should just reach out.
Blood.
Yeah, Back 4 Blood. Valve should just reach out and slap a 3 on that thing.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, the humor seems that way. The way everything plays seems that way.
Man, I had some fun with Left 4 Dead back in the day. I wouldn't mind jumping in because we got a little taste of it with that World War Z game that just I did not like very much at all.
Oh yeah, I remember that. We all 3 played that together, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
unreal. That's the only time
I had fun with it, but the problem was that for me the pacing was off in that game.
Well, yeah.
It didn't have the AI director system wasn't as good as Left 4 Dead's.
No.
Right. What else, guys? We got a bunch. I know we're not going to go through all of them. But
okay. The Callisto Protocol, I think all 3 of us are pretty jazzed about. It's Glenn Schofield, the producer, co-creator of Dead Space, doing a new sci-fi horror game that is bizarrely and hilariously in the PUBG universe.
Is it really?
Yes, it's 300 years after the events of PUBG is the Callisto Protocol. That is 100% accurate.
I think that was the one we were fighting over who gets to review.
Yeah, that. Now that the PUBG tie-in's there, that makes me a little mad.
Well, you're mad that it's PUBG tie? Just ignore that. Obviously, Glenn Schofield's ignoring that. I mean, when that guy got off the bed in the Callisto Protocol trailer, he had like that little almost health bar on the back of his neck. I was like, oh my god, we're finally getting Dead Space 4. And we pretty much are.
Yeah, so that's 2 titles that are named wrong.
Right, yeah. These are 2 titles that are daring copyright infringement.
Well, wouldn't it be funny if like you get to the end of Callisto Protocol and there's like a stinger at the end of the credits that shows that it's actually in the same universe as Dead Space, and then we just all collectively lose our crap.
Or oh man, imagine Callisto Protocol ends right and you get rescued by a spaceship and it's like, what's the hailing frequency? It's like, it's the USG Ishimura?
That'd be cool. So it's like a prequel to...
That'd be pretty rad.
I instantly got goosebumps, so...
Oh yeah, like that could be the... Oh no, that would be really cool. That would be really cool.
Am I wrong, but did they change the name of the Dragon Age game again?
Well, I think it's Dragon... Isn't it Dragon Age 4 now?
I think it's just Dragon Age.
No, it's Dragon Age Dreadwolf.
Oh, this is fun. Okay, so when they announced it at the Game Awards last year, I'm pretty sure it was Dragon Age Dreadwolf or Dreadwolf Rising or something like that.
Yes.
But I think in the trailer that they had at the Game Awards, it was just Dragon Age 4.
No, I'm pretty sure it just said Dragon Age. Because we had Dragon Age Origins.
We are awesome journalists.
Well, I was actually
it's not our fault this time, okay?
I was actually just watching the trailer and it just says Dragon Age.
All right.
And then I had to go back and look and I'm like, okay, we had Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Inquisition. So I'm like, we've never actually had Dragon Age.
It's fair. I don't know. I'm not going to play it.
You can't call Dragon Age just Dragon Age, though, because it's not a reboot. It's building off of the cliffhanger of Inquisition.
Yeah.
Even though it'll have been 10 years in between entries.
Yeah. So, you guys excited for Too Fast, Too Arc?
Too Fast, Too Arc.
Okay, man. I was dead convinced this is a Turok game.
So was I. I was like, this is Turok.
At the very first, I was like, oh, cool, Horizon trailer. Oh, Vin Diesel's in Horizon? That's interesting. I guess they already have Lance Reddick. But then as the trailer went on, I was like, oh, it's real T-Rex. Okay. I was like, this has to be Turok. Vin Diesel seems like exactly the kind of guy who would walk up to a game studio with his own money and say, I want to be Turok, and then just make it happen.
Yeah. Well, I think even in our Discord chat, like I actually messaged all you guys. I'm like, Turok? ?
It's gotta be.
And then it's like Arc 2, and I'm like, what?
That was
I didn't
very
know Ark
funny.
had lore.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
There's an Ark television show coming. Did you see the cast come into that animated show?
So I guess Ark is way bigger than we've ever given it credit for.
Apparently, yeah. It's just been out of our wheelhouse, and so we don't know. We know very little about it.
Yeah. I'm excited for Elite Dangerous Odyssey.
I love that they used that David Bowie song for that trailer.
Yeah.
I had that song stuck in my head for the next 3 days.
I still love that game, but I think we can all agree though that the most excited game
Disco
is
Elysium on console. Yeah.
No, you shut
I'm
your
excited, man. Me too.
Evil
Me too.
Evil Dead the game.
Evil Dead.
Yeah,
I don't care. I don't care. It's got Bruce Campbell.
I'll tell you, one, the amount of zombie games at this show made it feel like we were in 2006 again. And two, isn't everyone just going to fight over who gets to play as Ash?
I don't care. I don't need to play Ash. I'm playing in that universe.
I'm very excited for the Evil Dead game.
I mean, the last one I played was Hail to the King.
I played
that was the original PlayStation, wasn't it?
I had it on Dreamcast.
There was an Xbox game. I want to say it was a Fistful of Boomstick or something.
Yeah, you're right. There was Fistful of Boomstick.
And you had like a little Deadite buddy that you could kick around and stuff into enemies. As like a bomb, and you could I remember you could shoot him into a basketball hoop. It was an absurd game. I loved it.
I was actually kind of excited about Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection. I don't know if
is that a sequel or is it a remake?
It did not look like any Ghosts and Goblins game I've played.
Okay, I'm not super familiar with Ghosts and Goblins,
but the mechanics look very similar. Like the double jump in that game moves in a very specific way. In that, like once you commit to a direction, you can't change it. That's like a trope of the mechanic.
So it's like Mega Man 9, where they make a new game in the old style.
Right. Oh yeah, okay.
Mega
9 and 10 were the ones that went back to the old, yeah.
Yeah.
8 was the one that had Elmer Fudd as Dr. Light.
Dr. Wily.
No, I'm legit stoked for Ghosts and Goblins. I to this day still have not beat Super Ghouls and Ghosts. That game is hard as crap. I actually played it like legit, not on a emulator or whatever, and got to the final boss the second time, and I've never been able to pass the final boss. It really makes me mad. Because that's a game you have to play through twice to beat. You beat the final boss the first time, and then you have to go through the entire game, and you have to acquire this bracelet weapon. Is the only thing that will damage the final boss. And it's a piece of crap weapon, has no range, and yeah, I've never been able to beat that boss.
So it sounds like a great game design there.
Well, no, they made it intentionally difficult. And you could still say you beat it, technically, I guess. But anyway, the new one looks brighter and more cheerful than Ghosts and Goblins for some reason. But that core mechanic is still there, and I'm excited. I'm excited for that. Anything else?
Master Chief and Kratos are in the same game now.
Yeah. In Fortnite, right?
Yes, it's so dumb.
There's something about seeing Kratos doing Fortnite dances that just hurts my soul a little bit.
Yeah, it's not cool seeing him floss.
Yep.
That and Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is he in there too?
And Michonne.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
that was also part of the new update. Like you get Master Chief and Walking Dead characters.
So a bunch of M-rated games and R-rated content coming to Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Surprise game release from Medal of Honor. I did not expect that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Above and Beyond. And then finally the Mass Effect teaser.
Which was the most teasery of teasers. Like there was nothing to show there.
No, I mean it basically just like we're going to ignore Andromeda. That's what the teaser told me.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, look, Liara.
We obviously did not cover every game release, everything, just kind of the things that stood out to us, which is funny to me that a rehash of a classic game is the thing that I'm most excited about on there. Although that Calypso, was it Calypso?
The Callisto Protocol, which is a cool name. I think cool. Returnal looks cool, still looks cool as well.
Which one?
Returnal.
Yes.
PS. You don't see a lot of old lady protagonists.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. But I don't know, like, the BioWare teasers they did nothing for me.
I mean, they wouldn't have done anything for me anyway. I've never been a BioWare guy, so yeah, I've tried not knocking them. I am excited to play Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm glad that's coming to Game Pass. That game just looks like a fun thing just to mess around with. I just want to fly over my house.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
If you've never watched the YouTube videos of people trying to be flight controllers in that game with drunken pilots, is hilarious.
Yeah, I can imagine. I did have another one. You're interested in Evil West, aren't you, Zach?
Yeah, I'm signed up to review it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks, it looks rad. It's just, it's from the Shadow Warrior guys, I think, so it should probably be an over-the-top first-person shooter, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was kind of fun to see the Swedish Chef. I know that's weird, but what a perfect tie-in. Honestly, I'm surprised it took that long to get a Muppet tie-in with Overcooked, because that was pretty great.
I mean, it was one of those things where you see it and you're like, how did nobody think of this before?
Yeah, exactly. All right, any other news stand out besides the Game Awards, you guys? We're running a little longer. Yes, no?
No surprise that Halo got delayed.
I thought they announced a full year delay, so I guess I misunderstood their first delay. So this was not it did not register as new to me.
But beyond that, the EA buying Codemasters for $1.2 billion makes zero sense to me.
It feels like you're overpaying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I don't know the numbers of Dirt and Grid or whatever the hell those games are.
There is a market for those. There
really is, but 1.2 billion.
Yeah.
And
Dirt Grid and F1, like the F1 games, like that's all they make anymore.
How much did Disney buy Star Wars for?
$4.6 billion.
$4.6. All right.
They got a deal.
Yes, they did.
I'd say they'd made that back and then some by now.
They made that back in like 2 movies with all the merchandise stuff.
I would say I think they announced after Rogue One they had already made their money back based on merchandising and everything.
Wow. The power of that franchise.
The power of the House of Mouse's marketing team, man.
Pretty much. All right. Well, just as a reminder, we are an independently funded podcast, which means, guess what? We do pay for our podcast hosting services, website, all that on our own, which is why we have a Patreon page where fans do have the ability, if they'd like, to contribute money to help offset the cost of production, as well as allow us to give back to the community. So if you'd like to help out, you can do so at patreon.com/thegocast. We also offer multiple tiers where you can get access to bonus episodes. CB, what is on the horizon for bonus episodes?
Still we have our Star Wars Squadrons and Dante's Inferno episodes available, as well as Part 1 of Final Fantasy VI.
Mm-hmm.
As far as upcoming stuff, I know I talked with Spencer the other day. He's got some stuff brewing. I know that there's another Going, Gone coming.
Nice.
Just trying to work out some dates. He's got a couple other things in the hopper that he's been working on. So hopefully by the time you hear this, not this episode, but the next episode, we'll have some announced titles for you.
Very cool. And again, a $3 tier gets you 1 bonus episode, $5 gets you 2 bonus episodes, and then it goes on from there. We give you discounts in our Go Shop. And like I said, it helps us to pay for the show, keep things running. And like I said, do giveaways for the community. I think we gave away one of those Mario Brothers Game & Watches.
Yes, we did.
The little handhelds, which, by the way, I played CB's at his house for just a minute. That is a nice little piece of hardware. I was shocked. I mean, I don't really have a huge desire to go back and play Super Mario Brothers regularly, but it worked really well. I was pretty impressed. So let's go ahead and talk about the games we've actually been playing. Zach, pickings are looking a little slim this week. Are we over the holiday, busy season?
Finally, December is slowing down. Normally would have been slow already.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this week we only have a handful of games. We have a collection of Saga, Final Fantasy Legend, coming to Switch December 15th. That's rounding up a bunch of, I believe, formerly Japanese-only Saga Frontier games.
Mm-hmm.
Then Marvel releases their new mobile game Realm of Champions, which is on iOS and Android December 16th. That is it's like a bunch of multiverse smashing together. Like the ancient one being Doctor Strange and weird stuff like that. That seems kind of cool. And then a motorcycle racing game MXGP 2020 coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC December 16th. That's it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be trying to catch up this week.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely check out Realm of Champions just to see it.
Of course.
Hey, you know what? No Stadia games.
Hey.
Oh, darn. Yeah, Cyberpunk had to be the last big Stadia game, yeah?
Yeah, I believe so.
Speaking of which, you guys have been playing Cyberpunk, haven't you?
Actually, I have not, so this is all CB. I have questions as well. I did not get a chance to dive into it like I hoped.
Oh, okay. So, CB, look, you're playing it on Xbox. You're playing Series X, so you get a little upgrade version?
Yeah.
Because the word out of the Xbox One and PS4 versions is
they look
pretty
awful.
abysmal. IGN gave the Xbox One PS4 versions a 4 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah, so Sony's actually giving refunds for the PS4 version.
Which Sony does not do, historically. So that is must be pretty bad.
Our producer Nate and I were talking about it before we started, and the frame tearing and everything looks so bad, it almost looks PS2 era.
Holy cow. I saw some of the facial animations where you can't even tell that it's a face. It just looks like a big
blank slate.
Nintendo 64 blur.
Whoa.
I don't know. Again, I haven't seen it firsthand, and I know that there have been some images that people have been throwing around that are actually from something else, like the Halo rat is one, I think, that's been making its rounds.
But hey, CV, how about the actual game, though?
As far as playing it on the Series X, this game is gorgeous.
Yeah?
I mean, it's not PC level, but man, does it look good. I'm digging it because I love the cyberpunk style of games. The gameplay has been pretty good. I've been having a lot of fun tearing things up.
Can you tell me what the gameplay is though? Because I haven't seen any gameplay at all. I've kind of avoided it because if I was going to play it, I want to jump in fresh, but I just don't understand. Is it just open world, first person, melee shooting? What is it?
It's first person melee shooting. Go here, do the thing, talk to some people, go here, do the thing.
Okay, well that doesn't sound like awesome, incredible experience to me. What does it do anything different? Because why is everybody just so hyped for this game?
The skill trees, the story, just the setting.
Yeah, I don't know. That feels a little. It's kind of playing it down, don't you think, Scott? Like Skyrim just came out and did what Oblivion did, and everyone still was blown away by it.
I don't mean to sound like I'm downplaying it. I just legit want to understand what it is that everybody's so excited about. Is it just the, CD Projekt Red and coming off of Witcher, and how massive and
I would say based on the 8 million copies sold in the pre-order period, yeah, I would think most of the hype is just The Witcher.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. The success of Witcher 3, everybody just wants more of that, but with a world that looks cooler, more modern, I guess. But I don't know. The story is supposed to be what's awesome, but I want to know, are you having fun with it?
I'm having fun with it. I will say I'm really enjoying some of the concepts that they're diving down.
In terms of story or in terms of gameplay?
In terms of story beat.
Okay.
Just because I love futuristic concepts on things. I don't want to spoil something that happens within the first few hours of the game, but just the like the major concept that's going on in the background to me is something that I love reading about from a futuristic standpoint.
It's not about AI coming to life, is it?
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
I can't do that again. I don't think.
No, it's definitely not that. I will say this, you can tell that this game, like CD Projekt Red, is really banking on Keanu Reeves making them dollars.
Have you met him yet?
Yes.
Johnny Silverhand?
I have met him. He is everywhere. His character's kind of cool. I don't like he revolves around that plot too. So I'm just kind of curious to see how it pans out. I've got about 6 to 8 hours into the game.
Have they like publicly said what Silverhand's role is?
Kind of, but I know a lot of people stay away from spoilers.
Okay, I was just wondering because they said it pretty nonchalant in the E3 demo was in, but I don't feel like a lot of people know.
I don't.
Yeah, because they kind of gloss, like most people don't understand that concept.
Okay.
His character like is very well written. I love the interactions between the characters. Like there is a lot of heart between your character and like some of your friends, just like the conversations that they have back and forth, because there's a lot of loss. I'm actually, I know you can choose like different routes, like either you can start as a nomad or a street kid or a corpo, which is like a corporate grunt. I started as a street kid, and each one of them has like different things that are available to you almost immediately or locked out. There's different like text paths, like how you can weave the story, which I also really enjoy.
That's really cool. Like Dragon Age Origins way back when did a similar thing where you had different prologues or whatever, and it just totally, if not radically changed the way the game played, it colored it differently,
Yes.
It's just that's a really cool concept. I'm glad to see someone else doing it.
I know like my character's a mercenary, and as you walk around, like you can constantly scan people in this game.
Like Watchdog style?
Yes, but if they've committed a crime, you can just straight up kill them and collect a bounty on them.
Yeah.
Interesting. Does it just like get automatically deposited into your electronic account or whatever?
Yep. Like it's just, killed him, got him.
So are you an officer of the law, or no, you're a mercenary, you said?
You were just a straight up merc.
Gotcha. So the other classes, obviously you're going to have different, you're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, like you're going to be doing different things. So I'm curious, because the main story is actually only like 25 to 30 hours, which to me just blew my mind compared to Witcher 3.
Well, I mean, I feel like most of the story in Witcher 3 was side quests.
Yeah, I mean, there is a Scott. I will warn you right now. If you play this game, you're going to hate the map.
Is it massive?
It is Assassin's Creed Unity.
Oh no! Oh, that game made me so nervous.
There is a lot on the map.
Yeah, but is there a lot of verticality? That's the thing that drove me crazy about Unity. Is like you go to the location on the map, and then they don't have any indication as if it's above you or below you. It's just like it's in this spot somewhere. You got to draw an imaginary line down the building and figure it out.
No, you really don't run into that problem in this.
Okay, I can handle that.
But yeah, there's like a lot of fun things. This game really does feel like the Carl Urban Judge Dredd.
Ooh, okay. I'm
like
listening.
Just now, I'm back in
but that cyberpunk feel, like that movie is straight up cyberpunk. So it's like that style of universe.
That's cyberpunk.
That's considered cyberpunk.
Is it really?
Like cyberpunk is like steampunk. Like
I'm sorry. I'm thinking
motif.
steampunk. I'm mixing up steampunk and cyberpunk. Okay.
But yeah, it's just a lot of fun. The music is really good. The interactions are good. I'm having a lot of fun with the combat.
How does the mechanics feel? Is the shooting feel solid? Does it?
It feels pretty good. There's definitely a little bit of a Borderlands feel with the weapons.
Ooh, okay. Man.
Which, well, there's like,
CB's doing more to sell me on this game than their marketing ever has.
Right?
There's the gray, the green, like, oh, this gun's slightly better. So it feels like there's a little bit of looter shooter mixed into it.
All right.
But just it feels very good, and I feel that CD Projekt Red really did do a disservice to the last gen people that bought this game, because this game does feel very good on a Series X. I want to see what it looks like on a PS5. I want to see what it looks like on a PC.
And those aren't even the native versions for the consoles either.
No, they're not, because that update is still coming.
Right.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. If for a lot of people that are still in last gen, don't gloss over this game. Like it is very good.
It just sounds like at least have a Pro or an Xbox One X.
I mean, yeah, this game screams like you need to be on the most current version of a console to be playing it the way it was meant to be played.
Why didn't this just be a next gen game? Why I don't understand.
I don't know.
But they're kicking themselves right now.
Or how about just don't be dirtbags and put out a game that doesn't run?
Yeah,
delay it. You know, I mean,
they did.
Delay it again.
Got death threats.
Yeah. I will say this is the first time on the modern console that I've been truly impressed with like the lighting. Because it really does feel like you're walking around in a city. It just feels so organic. Yeah. I mean, you'll notice reflections in the water, or people walking by a window and you see like a reflection on the window.
Nice.
How is the sex?
It's there. I will warn any parent who buys this game for their kid. I know I sent you guys a message on Discord. The hot coffee incident over Grand Theft Auto. This game blows that out of the water.
Right, and it's in first person, so it just feels a little more visceral.
You can literally walk up to workers on the street and be like, "Here's some money," and it cuts back to your apartment, and things ensue, and there is full-on nudity.
Game of the year.
For Zack, definitely.
Hey, CB, when you've made the sale, stop selling it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm all in on I want to play Cyberpunk badly now.
I understand that, but there are parents out there that like, maybe should I buy this game for my kid? Don't. Like,
well, I mean, you can customize your genitals.
How long did you spend in custom characterization, by the way?
I actually pretty much hit random.
That's usually what I do too. I'm glad I'm not the only one that does that.
Same here.
I hit random, but then I changed like hair color and face. Like the rest of it, I don't care about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I made kind of like an Irish dirtbag.
Nice. So you really didn't even. All I had to do was click a button and it made yourself.
Yeah,
that's nice. Much. Yeah.
It's pretty handy
with a bigger penis.
Then I won't lie.
I wish we could see his face right now. He's just like, yeah.
It is fun. I do recommend it. Just be warned on what you're walking into if you have an older console and if you have kids around playing this game.
Sounds good. I plan on diving into it this week as well. Again, that is Cyberpunk 2077. We will have more details on that. I assume we'll be talking about that next week some more for sure.
Yeah. As far as games that we've all been playing, Scott, you played a game called Shady Part of Me?
Yes, it's a little indie title that they actually showed at the Game Awards, and then just like decided to release it the other day. Just randomly dropped.
I love surprise releases.
I know. I kind of wish it happened more often. But I also worry that just doesn't work. With a smaller indie title like this, but this is a clever little game. It definitely feels like Limbo in terms of, but it has its own clever mechanic in that you are not just playing as one character, you're playing as two. But it's the main girl's character and her shadow. So you actually jump back and forth between her and her shadow. But what's interesting is that the girl in the foreground, that is the main girl, runs on a 3D plane. And then the shadow only runs on a 2D plane. So you remember those levels in Link Between Worlds where you had like the painting mechanic where you were like Link on the wall and he'd like crawl along the wall a little bit? That's what the shadow does. You didn't play Link Between Worlds on 3DS?
No.
Neither did I.
Oh man, you guys, Zach, you got to play Link Between Worlds. That's a really solid Zelda game.
I never jumped in on the 3DS.
All right, well I have one. I'll send it to you. I have a copy of the game.
Okay, wow.
Because
you really believe in a Link Between Worlds?
Did you like Link to the Past?
Of course, one of the greats.
This is like took that game anyway. Beside the point. So there's a mechanic in that game where you become the painting, and you actually become Link in this little animated thing that goes on the wall, and he kind of shuffles around, and there's a mechanic built into it. Same kind of thing here, but in this case, it's the girl's shadow. So you detach yourself from your shadow, and the shadow has to go along the walls, obviously, but the girl in the foreground has to manipulate things in the environment to make the shadows, to make platforms and different things move on the wall so that the shadow can move as well. The goal is for both characters to reach a checkpoint, and then you move on to the next puzzle, basically. But it's an interesting juxtaposition because, like I said, the girl walks in like a 3D plane, whereas the shadow only works in a 2D plane, and the shadow can jump, whereas the girl cannot. So you've got to like wrap your head around which character you're playing as, and it makes for some interesting perspective puzzles because also the girl can't be in the light. She's afraid of light for some reason, and there's a story mechanic behind it that I don't understand. I will say I truly do not understand what's going on in this story. I get the impression that the girl is trying to escape from an insane asylum, but I don't know for certain. I see rooms with padded walls, and they're looking for an exit, and I can't understand what it is, what's going on. I'm hoping that some of that gets revealed towards the end of the game, but it's a really clever game. I will say that I'm finding myself super annoyed with the character's voice. The girl's voice is just this super high pitch. It sounds like, do you ever play a game or watch a television show or something like that where it's very obviously a adult actor that is trying to sound like a child, and it just sounds so forced that there's no natural to it? That's how the main character sounds in this. The voice of the shadow is almost like her voice of reason, and she actually has a more soothing voice. And they talk back and forth and try to help each other out. But it's a very clever game. It's only about 4 hours long. I think I'm about halfway through it. It's kind of relaxing to play because the puzzles, at least up to this point, are never overly difficult. They're just difficult enough that I don't feel like I'm struggling. It's more or less like you can just kind of trial and error your way through it to finally see what they're trying to get you to do. But I definitely had to scratch my head a couple times. But yeah, Shady Part of Me. It is a cute little game with a theme that I'm still trying to figure out. But I'm still looking forward to playing through it to see where it goes because the art style is great and the lighting effects feel awesome.
Sounds rad as hell.
I'll admit I'm pretty interested. What are you playing it on?
Xbox Series X.
I'm there.
Yeah, I figured you would be. You love those achievement points.
I do.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, that's the games we've been playing. I do have a couple reviews for you guys as well. I sat down and talked to Kevin Honigford about a game he reviewed for us called Per Aspera, and I also talked to Thomas, who played 3 games for us, the video game version of Animal Farm. He also played a game called 9 Witches, and then he picked up a game called The Last Show of Mr. Chardish. So you're going to get to hear all 4 of those reviews right now. I'm here once again with Mr. Kevin Honigford from our lovely GoCo community. How you doing, Kevin?
Great, yourself?
I'm doing all right. You're here to review another game for us, and this game is called Per Aspera. This one comes from developer Tion Industries and was provided to us by Sandbox Strategies, so shout out to them for the hookup. And I'm going to tell you, I watched this trailer. It felt like a very cinematic trailer. I didn't see a ton of gameplay in the one I saw in the launch trailer, but I recognized a very familiar voice in one Mr. Troy Baker, which was enough to get me excited about it. But why don't you tell me about this? Is this a simulation game? Like a real-time sim?
It's a city builder.
City builder, okay.
Yep. It's a base builder, very heavy on resource management.
Okay. And it takes place on Mars? Is it?
Yep.
Okay. So what sets this one apart from other city builders? I mean, why would someone like Troy Baker want to be involved in a project like this? Not disparaging the game, just curious.
Well, it is a very story-driven, a narrative-driven city builder. There is a very in-depth story to it, which is really good, by the way. Outside of that, it is very different from other city builders in the resource system in this game is like any other city builder I've ever built put on steroids.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's very... There's a lot of stuff that goes together at a much higher rate, I guess is the word I want to use, than in most other games. There's a lot of things you have to do, a lot of steps you have to take to get to where you want to go. And the resources and the resource management in particular is very much more in-depth.
Okay, so there's, in terms of different kinds of resources, like in most city builders, there's usually one kind of resource, whether it be just gold or whatever you're mining. Is there just multiple resources?
There are multiple resources, and there are you need different multiples of each resource to build different things.
Oh, okay.
And it's not like you only have a set amount of mines to mine from for aluminum and things like that. And it takes a certain amount to build buildings, obviously. But it's if you don't manage your resources right, this game is very unforgiving.
Okay.
If you go down that path.
The gameplay trailer that I did find showed a lot of driving between bases or something like that on these roads. Is that a key portion of this game?
Yeah, actually, that's another cool part that I hadn't seen before is where you build your buildings and build your roads to and from your buildings dictates how fast they can get there, how smooth they can get there. You can upgrade these roads as time goes on and as you research different things in your research lab. Yeah, that's another cool aspect that I hadn't seen in another game like this before. Okay.
And you're playing this on PC. Is this a game that you recommend for people to check out? Does it stand out enough from other city builders?
Yeah, I think so. It's not a game for people that aren't into the city builder genre, simply because it doesn't tell you how to play the game.
Oh, okay.
Almost at all. After a good 10 hours of playing, I was still trying to figure out what certain icons meant, why things were doing what they were doing. It doesn't do a very good job of explaining how to actually play the game very well at all. The only reason I think I enjoyed it as much as I did is because I've played these kind of games before. I've enjoyed them, so I knew kind of the gist of how things worked in a general manner.
Sounds good. And so if you are already a sim fan or a city builder fan, this one's probably for you. But if you're new to the genre, you may want to try other ones first.
Yeah, I would definitely get your feet wet with something else.
All right, sounds good. Again, the game is called Per Aspera. Thank you, Kevin, so much for checking this one out for us. I really do appreciate it, man.
All right, thank you for the opportunity.
All right, we'll catch you later.
See ya.
I'm here once again with Mr. Thomas Becks, all the way from Ireland across the pond. How you doing, sir?
Well, it's a weird year. It's a weird moment. We just came out of lockdown, but at least I have some good games to play.
There you go. And I think we should kind of call your segment like Adventure Game Corner or something. You've actually got 3 games we're going to talk about real quick. The first one I'm genuinely interested in because there was a book that I tried to read when I was in junior high school called Animal Farm, written by George Orwell. And I was so bored out of my skull when I was a kid, I could not finish this book. I think it was just a little bit over my head for my young adolescent brain. But there's now a game based on it. It comes from developer Nereal, and the Renaissance PR provided you with a copy to check this out. And I'm really curious because I know very little about the story, but what's the general consensus of this game? How does it work?
Well, it's basically a visual novel combined with resource management. The story of Animal Farm, it's an allegory for the Russian Revolution and communism.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do here, and most people know it either from the book or from the 1956 animated movie, which is really good. And it actually expands a bit on the book. And the art style of the game is very much based on that animated movie.
Gotcha, okay.
And what happens here is in Animal Farm is basically the animals take over the farm, led by the pigs. You have Napoleon, you have Snowball, and you have Squealer, who are mostly the main pigs. And they want to prove that animals can run the farm better than humans can.
All right.
And again, it's all an allegory for the Russian Revolution, for the rise of communism. Napoleon is supposed to be Stalin. Snowball is supposed to be, I think, Lenin. Or Tolstoy. No. One of those guys.
All right.
And the story in the book mirrors kind of what happens in real life. However, you don't need to understand that allegory in order to enjoy this game. Because what happens here is you try to keep the farm running. You have to get the resources in. You have to get the grain in. You have to keep everybody happy. You have to keep animalism alive. And you try to survive as long as you can. And
so it's kind of like a survival game at the same time. Survival / simulation game built in with this story. All right.
Yes. And while the concept is and the execution is very easy, to actually be good at this, it's not so easy. There are several destinies and endings that you can get. The first ending I got is that everybody died.
Oh, nice.
Everybody died. One of the other endings was that the farm gets sold to the humans.
Mm-hmm.
What basically happens, and I'm not spoiling anything here because this is a very old book. This is a book from 1941, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the movie is from 1956. You can find the movie on YouTube in its entirety. I have included a link to the movie in my review.
Perfect. Which you can find at thegamingoutsider.com.
Exactly. What happens is basically that the pigs become the humans, and the pigs are just as bad as the humans. It starts out as all animals are equal. They have seven rules, the 7 laws of animalism. All animals are equal, and it ends with all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others.
Gotcha.
And it ends with Napoleon as a dictator, having the dogs as his personal bodyguard who kill anybody who is against him. Snowball is very technology minded. He is trying to improve everything, and he is becoming a threat to Napoleon, so he is driven off the farm. That is the stuff that happens in the book. But it's also stuff that can happen, not necessarily will happen, but can happen in the game, because it depends on choices that you make. And it depends on how happy you keep people. It depends on which characters you keep alive and not. You can literally work animals to death. But if you lose Boxer the horse, and if you lose too many of the sheep, then not much will get done, and then eventually the farm will go under.
Gotcha.
Or if you don't build your defenses, the humans will come and destroy your windmill and destroy your farm. If you don't repair the barn, the horses get sick. If you don't keep Molly happy, she runs away. But if you do really well, you get new animals who join you and who can help you out, which makes your survival bigger. So there's a lot hanging on the choices you make, and then also that resource management aspect in this game.
All right, my last question has to do with the original property itself. Again, I've not read the book. I've always kind of felt like I should, but would this be a good place to start to learn that story, or would you recommend just going back to the book or the original film?
Oh no, this is perfectly good. This is a great adaptation of the source material. They take the best things of the book, they take the best things of the movie, and they develop this game, which is a very good companion to the book. You don't have to have read the book or seen the movie in order to understand what's going on. You don't even need to worry about the allegories. It's fun to try and make different choices when you replay it. A playthrough is about an hour. It can be 20 minutes if you make very bad choices. It can also be longer if you manage to survive longer. the first time I survived 3 years, which is not many. And then one of my later playthroughs, I survived 10 years.
Gotcha.
So that's it's all depending on the choices you make. But you can, for instance, one time I decided I'm going to go fully on Napoleon this time, which is very authoritarianism. It's very much communism, the way Stalin ran the Soviet Union. So you kill your opponents, and everybody has to do what you say. And the other times I made different choices, and it ended up in different things, and also different encounters. At one game, I got a camel that joined the farm.
A camel?
A camel from a circus. Yeah. I did not remember that from the movie. But it was cool because he could do a lot of hard work. So,
there you go.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that's happening here.
Sounds interesting. It sounds like if I'm going to experience a story, I love games as much as I do. Maybe that's the way I'm going to do it instead of trying to jump into the book. So again, that is George Orwell's Animal Farm. Sounds pretty interesting, but let's go ahead and move on to the next one. You've been playing another adventure game called Nine Witches Family Disruption. And I'm not an expert when it comes to these adventure games, so can you give us a real quick synopsis of what the story is in this one?
Yes, this is a classic point-and-click adventure games, pixel art point-and-click adventure games that takes place in an alternate history of World War II, where they have the German division called the Occulte SS. They investigate the occult. It's well known in the real world that Hitler was a very much nuts about the occult, and a lot of games have been based on that. The original Wolfenstein and its sequel, Spear of Destiny, for instance, and there is a lot of.
Well, even Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of focused on that, right?
Exactly, Raiders of the Lost Ark is something that takes that big, where he tries to steal the Ark of the Covenant, which should make him invincible. In this case as well. You have the Occulte SS. They are led by a general, and they have something has happened in Norway. Something bad has happened in Norway. They have somehow unleashed a curse, and you play Professor Krakovic and his Japanese assistant. You play two characters. You can switch between these characters. And you try to find out what happens. You have to infiltrate the town and the base where this all takes place. And you have to find out what their evil plan is and stop it. And the fun thing is, because it's alternate history, there is a lot of occult stuff going on, and the professor actually has the ability to speak with the dead. He can go into a trance, and he can literally exit his body, and then he can speak with spirits that have been left behind. And that is an important thing that you need to use in order to solve some of the puzzles. And you also play the Japanese assistant, who is literally his hands and feet, because the professor can't do much else. He is in a wheelchair, and he can move around in his wheelchair, but that's it. He can't pick up things, he can't manipulate things, but he can use his speak with the dead, and he can develop those powers. And what you try to do is find out what evil is going on and stop it. I can't go into too many spoilers.
No, I understand, but when I watched the trailer, there was almost like a box quote that stood out to me. It said it called the game a love letter to point-and-click adventures. Why do you think they called it that, and do you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, because it's very much an old-school classic point-and-click adventure, and it's very simple in its controls as well. It's literally point-and-click, and you can look at things, or you can manipulate things. You can pick it up. You can talk to people. I played it with a controller.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's not like you.
No, but it's the best way to play this game is with the controller, because you can just walk with the joystick, and then the A, B, X, Y buttons are the commands that you give. So A is often pick things up or talk to people. B is look at people. X is look at people. B is the professor's special power, and Y is inventory.
Oh, okay.
So it's a very, very simple way of controlling the game, and you can with the trigger you can switch between the characters. And you just go ahead and try and find out what is going on, and you try to use both characters in the best way. So if you come across a locked door, you can have the professor go into trance, because in his spirit form he can go through the door and you can see what's inside, for instance. And then he can spy on things, and he can find out things, and later his powers develop even more and give him more cool things to do with that speak with the dead ability. There's also a arcade element in there. There are several moments where you have to shoot at the Nazis. The first one is relatively quickly in the beginning. That is not as difficult, but there are certain parts where that is very, very challenging. And then you also can put the difficulty of the game, not of the game, but of the arcade part, you can put it to easy, and in that case you get help. And that makes it a lot easier to finish those parts, because there was one part where I got like 3 or 4 waves of enemies that I had to kill, and I got through the first 3 waves, but then in the 4th wave I was constantly getting killed, and then I had to start all over again, and that got a bit too frustrating for me. So then I changed the difficulty to easy, and then the devil helped me by smiting my enemies.
There you go. Do you recommend Nine Witches Family Disruption?
Yes. Under one caveat, there is some very immature humor in there. They are
like
very
sophomoric humor,
like Weekend at Porky's humor, very toilet humor-esque.
Gotcha. Weekend at Porky's. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it won't. The humor. There are some very good jokes in there. There are some very childish jokes in there. They have a weird frustration with testicles throughout the game.
I'm frustrated with mine, so.
Okay. Well, if that's not your thing, then you can still enjoy this game, because the story is actually pretty good. I think actually the game would have been even better if they had removed a lot of those childish jokes and just kept it as a story, because a story as a supernatural story with a few jokes I enjoyed it a lot. So if you don't mind a few childish jokes here and there, definitely you can play this game and enjoy this game.
Sounds good. Again, that's Nine Witches Family Disruption. The game comes from Indie Disruption and Blowfish Studios and was provided to us by Stride PR. Thanks for checking that one out. Last one, really quick, Thomas. This is one that you just picked up on your own because you wanted to play it so badly. It's called The Last Show of Mr. Chardish.
Yes.
This one comes from developer Punk Notion as well as Hydra Games. So you gave this one a pretty high review in your written review. Why'd you like this one so much?
Yeah, I came across this when I downloaded some demos during the Steam Festival. And one of the demos was the first chapter of this game. And I had no idea what to expect, but it sounded interesting, and I just tried to play it. And I was actually quite struck by this game, by this story. Mr. Chardish is a theater director, and in this game, you go to the theater where he performed, where he wrote and performed his first plays. And you try to find out what exactly has happened. You basically return, you play one of the actresses that he has worked with, and you return to that theater. The goal is a bit to find out what has happened with Mr. Chardish. And this is a game that is clearly 2 parts. One part is a walking simulator, and it's the part that revolves around the theater. And when you play this, you can find notes, and you can find drawings, and all kinds of stuff that give you clues and hints of what has happened, his thoughts about the plays he wrote. There are some fragments of interviews that you can listen to that are unlocked if you reach certain areas. What you can also find are masks. And there are 5 masks, and every mask corresponds with one of the 5 plays that he wrote there. And if you find a mask, you put it on and you get transported into that play. And you play you play in that play. And those plays are representative of Mr. Chardish's emotional state. So it's about love, found and lost and stuff like that. So what happens is you get transformed and then you get a bit of an arcadey feel. Some of the plays have that a bit more than others, but it's more like puzzling. You have to find certain things. You have to, like in the first play, which was part of the demo I played, you get transformed and you get transported into that play. It's really, really beautiful. It's very painterly. It's almost as if you're walking around in a Van Gogh painting. And
a what painting?
Van Gogh. Yeah, you guys pronounce it Van Gogh, but he's Dutch, so I know how to pronounce it. It's Van Gogh.
Oh. Okay.
Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
It's very painterly. It's very poetic, and what you have there is there are lights. There are stage lights, and those stage lights, they either conceal or reveal things. So what you do is you play with those lights. So if you find a stage light, you can either turn it around or you can manipulate the surroundings. And by blocking the light, for instance, you can free up an area. So the first time that happens, it was a stage light that I can turn around. And if I turn it around, I saw tables appear in the area. But I could also turn it on the locked door, and it made the door disappear. So I could use that and move through the door. And there was another area where I had two set pieces of a tree, two trees that I had to move in just the right way that it would block the light in a way that I could then move up a certain area and continue. So those are the kind of puzzles that are in there. There's another place where you are a droid, and you have to get from one side of the factory to another with your partner. And then there are areas where you control both droids at the same time. But if you go right, the other droid goes left, for instance. And then you have to figure out how to move through that area. So those are the kind of puzzles that you get when you are inside the place. And you can move up until the end. And then you've gone through all 5 plays. And I just really, really loved this story. It really touched me. And I felt myself transported into that world of poetry and painting. And it gave me a lot of joy, especially I played it like a month ago when we were still in lockdown, and it was really hard, and it just really gave me a feeling of escape for a couple of hours. Mm-hmm. And it's not like it's a very difficult game, but that wasn't the point. The point was really to experience this story and to find out what has happened and to explore the theater, to explore the plays, and to reach the end. And at the end, you have to make a decision. And yeah, it just really touched me, and I really loved playing this game, even though it wasn't that long. I think I played it for about 5 hours to finish it, which was fine. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, it was really 4 hours. It just transported me into that world, and I love being in that world. It was so colorful and nice and friendly and sad and melancholic and nostalgic and fun and funny. Yeah, it just touched me. It stirred some emotions in me, which is whatever a good piece of art should do, whether it's a movie, a piece of music, or a game, because games definitely are art.
Absolutely. It sounds like you mentioned in your review, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com, that it was like the perfect game for this time of year. You just kind of needed some positivity in your life, and I think we all could use that a little bit. So I'm glad it was a good thing for you, man. Again, that is called The Last Show of Mr. Chardish. All 3 of these games you played on PC, correct?
Yes.
And one thing that we never get a chance to really let you do here is tell people that you have your own podcast where you talk about adventure games each week. Can you tell everybody about that and where they can check that out if they'd like to?
Yeah, so I'm a co-host of the Adventure Game Podcast, and we dive into all sorts of adventure games and story-driven games and the occasional story-heavy games like The Last of Us, for instance. We did a whole spoiler special on The Last of Us 2 as well, but it's mostly visual novels, full motion video games, point-and-click adventure games, anything that fits into the adventure game genre that we talk about. We also do developer interviews, and we are now on our 94th episode.
Nice.
I think, or 95th. In January we will have our 100th episode, and we have a very, very special guest for our 100th episodes. For our 100th episode, it is an interview with one of the biggest name in adventure gaming.
Very cool, man. Look forward to that. Where can they find it?
They can find us on any app that will let you listen to podcasts, from Spotify to Apple Podcasts to anywhere where you can find the Gaming Outsider. You can also find the Adventure Game Podcast.
Sounds good, man. And all the reviews are posted on our website, like as I mentioned before, so be sure to check that out. But Thomas, thank you so much for spending the time playing these games and sharing them with us. I know we got a lot of our followers really enjoy hearing about these adventure games. Really appreciate it, man.
You're welcome. I enjoy playing them, and I like that people like me reviewing it. So thank you very much. I hope everybody stays safe and sound and healthy, because the situation over there in the US is a bit worse than it is over here in Europe. So please don't go out if you don't need to. Just stay home and play games, please.
Don't have to tell me twice. All right, man. Well, thanks a lot. We'll catch you later, all right?
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, thank you, Kevin and Thomas. Really appreciate you guys covering those games. Let's go ahead and move on. Got a couple new Facebook members to say hello to. Actually, another site by the name of Retro Gamer Online joined the Facebook group, as well as Joe Starks. If you are not already a Facebook member, please head over and consider joining at facebook.com/groups/thegocast. And hopefully Joe and all the rest of the new people over there are enjoying the conversations and the news articles and memes and general just awesome community over there. Also, our Discord is up and running. There is a link for that in the show notes. We try to do a community game night once a month. We're skipping December just because of the holidays and everything, but we will be back in full force in January for sure. And plus, the community over there is awesome as well. If you get a chance, stop over at iTunes or Apple Podcast. Leave us a review. It helps us get the word out about the show. And also our website, thegamingoutsider.com, is where we house all of our episodes, all of our written reviews, including the aforementioned George Orwell's Animal Farm, written by Thomas, The Last Show of Mr. Chardish, also written by Thomas, Alyssa's written review of Root Double, Before Crime After Days, and Kevin's review of Per Aspera as well. Again, the website is thegamingoutsider.com. Let's jump now into our From the Outside In topic. Yes, it's Christmas season, which for many of us means that there will be gifts exchanged between friends and family. We're going to discuss what's on ours and our listeners' wish list for the year that are video game related. But before we get to that, let's discuss times where we actually gave someone incredible gifts centered around gaming. Have you ever gifted someone a game or a collectible to someone that you're pretty proud of?
Let's see. I gave my brother his very first 360. For Christmas one year, I bought him a brand new 360.
Nice. I can relate. Do you remember when the Xbox One came out? We had the day one editions.
Yeah.
You remember I bought 2 of them because I was on this kick where I'm going to keep one forever and not open it and make $1 million. Yeah, I wound up giving one of those day one editions to my brother. Just like, here you go. So,
nice.
I kind of regret it, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. I mean, thank God, because that one actually had a pretty bad disk drive.
Did it?
And they failed after a while, so I actually traded mine in.
Nice. Zach, how about you? Anytime you gifted somebody something game related?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. It's hard to remember years past. Guys, we're getting old. But I know I gave my father. He's a big Gears of War fan.
Yeah.
I know one year gave him all 3 collector's editions at once for Gears 1, 2, and 3.
Nice. I believe he still has those.
Yeah, but I think I would think so. They're his to do with. I guess you could throw them what they want to. They're his now. And then I remember I could not afford like the giant Lancer replica that's like $200 or whatever.
Right.
But I got him like this little like model build kit to make a tiny little Lancer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of fun.
One of my favorite memories was back in the Rotten Tomatoes days. You guys ever peruse the Rotten Tomatoes video game forums back in the day? No. There was a pretty active community. I actually made a lot of friends. My former co-hosts of this show, we all met on Rotten Tomatoes. My good friend Mike, who's a member in our community, lives out in Portland. I went to his wedding. I met him on Rotten Tomatoes. We had a really cool community over there, and every year at Christmas, we would do a gift exchange. And I've always wanted to try to pull this off here at the Go, and maybe we could do it someday. But what we'd do is you had to do an honor system, but you basically drew names, and everybody got randomly matched up with somebody else. And then it started as everybody would just put a bunch of old games they don't play anymore in a box and ship them to the other person, and the other person would do the same back to you, and you would get a box of games that may or may not be awesome or that you may or not have played. And that's how it started, but it developed into this who could outgift the other person better. You know what I'm saying? You just get a giant box of games, of gift cards, apparel, collectible items, anything video game related that you could find. My first year, let's see, we're going to talk about games we've received, so I'll get to that one in a minute. But that year, I was trying really hard to impress, and CB, you're going to kill me for this. I gave away my complete box copy of Earthbound on the Super Nintendo with the manual, with the box, with the cart, everything like that. At the time, it was worth about $150, and that's probably worth about $600 or $700 now. So I'm like, probably more than that. It wasn't in great condition. It was a little beat up, but but I was pretty proud of myself for pulling that off. I think I stuck in I had Captain N, the Game Master, on DVD. That was a great thing to throw in there. Is that valuable now?
I mean, it's not cheap, but it's not expensive. I mean, it's mid-range.
Yeah, that show's harder to watch than I thought it would be. I loved that show when I was a kid, but
I still love that show.
I mean, it's cheesy, man. Like the voice of Mother Brain. Like who thought that was a good idea?
What did it sound like?
A sassy African American woman.
Oh, that is not what I expected.
I mean, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
That's what Mother Brain sounds like.
That's weird.
Go YouTube Captain N Mother Brain and just tell me that does not seem like a weird design choice.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, that whole show is bizarre. Like Simon Belmont is like a conceited blonde dude that's like always staring at himself in the mirror.
He is straight up a bro.
He's a Chad.
I would say he's a Gaston.
Okay.
Very full of himself, always conceited. Mega Man was the only one that was like kind of sort of, but he was green.
Yeah, he was the wrong color, the wrong height, the wrong build.
And Kid Icarus had like a weird accent. I can't remember.
Yeah, he
sounds like the best show ever.
It's bizarre, but it was the only video game related television anything we had in the 90s, and it was the coolest thing ever when I was a kid.
Had King Hippo, man.
King Hippo, Eggplant Wizard. There was an episode dedicated to Metroid. Metroid Sweet Metroid was the title of it.
Did it play any Metroid Metal?
No. How rad would that have been?
I imagine it'd be a dream come true.
I actually have some of the animation cells from that show.
I have seen them. They look pretty cool.
Yeah, I love them.
So anyway, that was a fun time. That whole exchange. And it wasn't just that year. Every year it just became a competition to see who could do better than the other person, and you just get a giant box of stuff. And if you had a really good partner, they would like actually individually wrap everything. So you kind of just, you didn't just open it up and see everything. You kind of had to work your way through it, which was fun. I think that would be fun to do with our community, but
I agree.
Maybe next year when COVID isn't a thing and it doesn't take 16 months for something to get shipped.
Yeah, it has been getting pretty bad.
Yeah. What about games you've received? What's the best video game related gift you received around Christmas?
Well, besides obviously the Starlink I got last year. I was really trying to think. I feel like it's so hard to remember.
Yeah.
But the only time my mother and father, who were never truly together outside of some escapades, conspired with one another was right when the 360 came out.
Uh-huh.
And they actually managed to converse. And my father gave me a certain amount of gift cards to Best Buy. My mother gave me some cash. So I was able to put the money together and get an Xbox 360.
Nice.
I want to say actually it might have been the Christmas after it came out, but regardless, that was pretty cool. Not only just because I got a 360, but my parents worked together on something that was kind of crazy. So
nice.
They kind of chat now. So I wonder if maybe I sowed the seeds of their being able to communicate.
There you go. Video games bringing people together.
Absolutely, historically true. And the first game I got Gears of War, and then I remember my father being mad at me because I also bought Splinter Cell Double Agent, which I had on the original Xbox already, and he thought I was throwing my money away. But they were two different games, Father. If you remember that,
nice.
So that sticks out. Or my grandma, bless her heart, didn't know what she was getting me. I asked her for a Vita, and she accidentally got me the Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation Vita.
Oh, that worked out well.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Do you still have it?
No, I do not.
Oh,
hard times, unfortunately.
Oh man, that one hurts.
Yeah, that does hurt big time.
Nice, not bad. CB, how about you?
Believe it or not, the last time I got a video game gift was 2008.
Well, it's because people are go down your basement and they're like, "What do I get him?"
I have a list. You just have to ask for it.
A shelf, apparently.
No, I build those myself.
Some plywood.
No, pretty much. I've actually received like 2 video game gifts that like really stand out for me. One was from my dad, which was my original Nintendo when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last like big video game gift I got was in 2008 from my brother. Back when he and I were playing WoW religiously, he got a huge wall poster done of my character.
Wow,
oh, that's cool. Yeah,
no pun intended. That I was legitimately impressed. That's a really cool gift.
Yeah, it's actually sitting right behind me. I still have it to this day. It is framed in a very nice frame. The problem is it's really big and I don't have really any space to put it up. So it kind of just leans against a wall. I mean, it is like, it's almost like movie poster size.
Wow. I got that beat though. Speaking of movie poster, I gifted a friend back when I worked at Blockbuster. Do you remember when Kill Bill came out? I was working there when Kill Bill came to the
8-foot poster.
It was the one. It's like 4 pieces. Like if you imagine one poster made up of 4 movie posters that are, the movie posters turned sideways, but they put them in like the windows so that there was enough space in between. You know what I'm talking about? They put them in the corners of the windows. And I convinced my boss to let me have those after they were done with it. And I actually got that framed in one frame. So it's like an 8-foot by 6-foot. I don't know if that may be not the right dimensions, but all in one giant frame that I had custom made. And it's still in his basement to this day. I was pretty proud of that.
I actually have the 8-foot window frame Kill Bill poster.
Do you?
But I don't want to spend the money to buy the frame to put it in.
It was not a cheap frame.
Yeah,
no, it's not.
Custom like that was kind of insane, but I was pretty proud of myself for coming up with that idea. But let's see. Did you have any others?
No, not really. Like I said, no. Again, being a video game collector, it is daunting when people are like, I want to get you something.
Right. See, at CV's point, it's usually like, because the things you want are either too obscure and you really don't want to go through like the song and dance of asking for it, or trying to be like, no, you have to go to this site and you have to go like, it's only available, like limited quantity, blah, blah, like it can be pretty annoying to get the super nerdy things you want. And then most years, but before, COVID drained me of funding, like I would just buy all the games I wanted anyway. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really have like a lot to ask for game wise at the end of the year. I think that's the cost of doing the podcast, guys. You just can't get Christmas gifts related to video games easily.
I hear you. I'm very difficult to buy for when it comes to games because, like you said, I'm usually buying the ones that I want. Or
yeah, I mean that said, if someone wants to send me a Cyberpunk 2077, go ahead.
There you go.
I won't stop you. PS4, obviously.
I don't know, man. Are you sure?
Oh, I have a Pro. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Okay.
Unless you want to set a PS5 with it.
Yeah. I'd like a Cyberpunk 2077 on PS5, but it needs to come with a PS5.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. My parents surprised me one year at Christmas that totally blew me away. I had no idea. Unwrapped a Sega Game Gear. And somehow I had never asked for it. I hadn't really wanted one, but the fact that they went out and found it and bought it and got it for me was really cool. Now, did I love the Game Gear? It was okay. But I remember opening that up and just being the happiest kid at Christmas that year that I got a new game console that I didn't even know I wanted at the time, which was really cool. More recently, my mom surprised me. I think I told you guys this story. My mom ordered and had painted custom a like life-size Master Sword that is currently hanging in my basement. With it's got like a shield thing to hang it on, and it looks legit. It's really, really cool. And the following year after that, she had custom made a Hylian, however you want to pronounce it, the shield made out of sheet metal. It's like 3 layers of sheet metal, different colored. I don't know, you know what I'm talking about, the shield with the blue and the...
Yeah. Everybody knows what the Hylian shield is, man.
Well, no, but I'm just trying to describe like the way that this design is. Like the top cover has the holes missing for the logos behind it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So that the color shows through. You know what I mean? It's all custom made, soldered together, and it looks really, really cool. So that was awesome.
Hate that we all pronounce it Hylian until Breath of the Wild?
I always pronounce it Hylian, and then now it's like Hylian. That just seems weird.
Yeah, get out of here with that.
It's
like get out of here with that garbage, Nintendo.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. I've gotten so many great Christmas gifts, game-related stuff over the years. People will gift me NES carts that I need for my collection. I have it posted online, so it's easy to find.
Oh, nice.
That's always
how kind of you to let everyone else know the NES games.
Well, I did it for my own. I didn't do it for that purpose. But like we have a family website that we use for like to keep track of Christmas wish lists and stuff. People that want. So if you want to buy somebody something, it's not like, hey, what do you want? You just go to their list. It makes it easier. So I just dropped that link. I found out I could drop that link on there, and a couple of years for Christmas, I got cartridges, which is awesome. So I apologize to whoever has gifted me something game related that I'm not giving you a shout out right now, but I don't want to go on for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the text messages I get about the things I forgot.
Yep, exactly. So now let's discuss this year. What is on your Christmas wish list, CB? I can't imagine there's anything on it.
I anybody who ever asked me, I actually have a link of every game that I'm missing in my collection. So I just like send them the link. I'm like, anything. And
everything that's on his list, you have to either eBay or get super lucky at a thrift store or garage sale or something.
No, there's actually like a lot of really common stuff on there.
Yeah.
But every year that I've sent it out, since when I first met my wife, like I've had this list since then. I send it to her. I've sent it to my parents, my brother, anybody who asks me every year. I have never gotten anything off that list.
Isn't that funny how that
Ever.
works? Like, that's like what you want more than anything. And everyone's like, no, I'm going to get him something really unique and that's going to be a surprise.
Yeah, socks.
We don't like surprises, guys. We just,
Yeah, I'm a simple guy. I have simple needs.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
uh,
simple
I'm not that simple.
kind of man. That was awful.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, I mean, beyond that, I mean, yeah, I really don't have anything on my list.
All right.
So, would it be awesome to get like a James Buster Douglas for Sega Master System? Yes, but I don't know anybody who's willing to shell out that kind of cash.
Yeah.
So, but like reading some of our listeners' comments, like it makes me really happy because you'll figure out why. Alan Sheck says, I'm psyched that Epic is giving away 15 free games during their holiday sale.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure what it will be, but that will certainly give me something to do. The Oculus 2 is my dream gift.
The Quest.
We'll see if that, the Oculus Quest 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because VR, it's amazing.
Shocking how many people are talking about the Quest 2 this year and how hard it's supposed to be to get. Like, it seems like the hot item this year.
I've repeatedly checked the Best Buy near our house and all the GameStops, and none of them have them.
You have a Quest already.
I know, but I was thinking about selling or giving my Quest to someone.
I heard the upgrade's not that big a deal, actually.
Yeah, except when it comes to certain games that are like, oh, released on the Quest 2, but not on the Quest.
Yeah.
Oh, dang it. Is that, would Medal of Honor do that or something?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Little mad.
Oh.
Funny how that works.
So yeah, a little mad about that. Also, my buddy Sean Coates, when it comes to games for Christmas, I can honestly say I just ask for gift cards because that's usually what I do. I know it sounds anticlimactic, but it's other gaming related gifts I get from friends and families that keep me surprised. My mom sent me a hardcover book of the 100 greatest retro games, spans from Pac-Man all the way to Halo.
Wait, is Halo considered a retro game?
It is now 3 generations old.
Oh
So, I
man,
mean, it's
I'm
almost
old.
It's like 20 years. It's almost 20 years old.
Yeah. So, I mean, technically it is actually considered retro now.
That's insane to me. Remember how revolutionary that game was when it first came out?
I hate being old, you know? Because you still think of Halo as like, man, it changed the game.
Yeah.
But for so many people, it didn't at all change the game.
If let's put it this way, Halo is older than the people currently graduating high school this year.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I still feel, yeah,
So-
it's because I still have the strong memories of playing it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember just looking down and being, I can see blades of grass at my feet. That's insane. That was a
Big
big
old
deal.
fat wide blades of grass.
Well, yeah, by today's standards, yeah. But back then it was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
And I was like, wait, the camera is first person, but you get into a car and it's third person? How do they even do that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a bit of a trip. Like I still remember getting my Xbox. But yeah, Alan, I hope you get your Oculus Quest 2. I love VR. And Sean, I completely agree with you because most of the time I just ask for gift cards because it's so much easier to be like, I want a gift card for eBay or Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Zach, how about you?
I don't know. I feel like every year it gets harder to come up with a Christmas wish list.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's just a part of getting old. Like, especially this year, I have just no money to buy other people gifts.
Right.
So it just feels like I haven't even considered the things I want, other than the
Right.
games I couldn't get around to playing, like Immortals or Cyberpunk or Watch Dogs and stuff. So for me, honestly, this year, I don't know what I want.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well,
but just being honest.
I hear you.
But
What about
Jordan
listeners?
Jordan Derringer, hi. Only game-related thing I asked for this year was a Resident Evil 2 tabletop game and a storage chest for my D&D dice. I like this because I like when you get gaming adjacent things. Like a Resident Evil 2 tabletop game. Or like, there's a Blood War card game I bought that I've never played, but I sure do own it. I feel like those surprises are cool. The ones you don't see coming. Then David Newman, I'm not going to ask for anything game related, but it's just because I don't want my wife to get me anything. See, David understands where I'm getting at. But if I was, I would probably be Cyberpunk 2077 or some Switch games like Mario Kart to play with my wife. Oh man. Okay, Super Mario 3D All Stars. There's a game on that's my Christmas wish list right there.
There you go.
That because I can't stomach the idea of paying the money for it. So I would like someone else to do it, and then I feel less scummy about playing in Nintendo's hands.
But you want to play it so bad.
I think that David was trying to butter up his wife to buy him Cyberpunk 2077.
That's exactly what this read like. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just want to make sure I wasn't the only one reading that.
I don't want to ask for anything, but I guess if I had to ask, Cyberpunk would be great. Anyway, my wife's the best human on the planet. Bye.
As for me, I have so many games I'm sitting on right now that I haven't even fired up. There's literally no games that I need to ask for. What I want for Christmas this year is time to play them. Please, can I have time to play some games?
So you want to get fired?
Well, no.
The fact that there was a pause and hesitation there.
Well,
no, I just would really like. This is my last week of work before I get Christmas break, and I am so looking forward to 2 weeks of no responsibility. I am going to play Ghost of Tsushima. I am going to play Cyberpunk 2077. What else have I missed?
Can you play Ghost of Tsushima on a PS5?
It is uploaded on my PS5 as we speak. I've got it ready to go.
My PS5?
It's not yours until you pay for it, man. Just saying. And then,
I've paid for part of it.
Just saying, if, I start Ghost of Tsushima, I gotta finish it. It's for the review, for the show, man.
It's for the show, absolutely.
I gotta, Game of the Year is coming up here pretty quick.
I imagine it's very high on CB's list, so he's got to make the sacrifice.
Yeah, you got a greater good, man.
I'm okay with it. I still have to finish Watch Dogs Legions, Immortals, and Cyberpunk.
I feel like Tsushima needs to be the game I need to focus on break. Because from what you guys are saying, I need to play that one for Game of the Year. I feel like it's almost unfair that I'm playing it now, right before we get to Game of the Year. Like that's
No, it's not unfair.
No? Okay.
He's trying to sack the vote.
I'm really not. I'm worried about that.
CB is.
Think about games that came out. Can you think of a game that came out in January or February?
Resident Evil 3 Remake.
Okay. Is that going to be on your top 10?
That was March. There's a game that came out at the beginning of April that's going to be real high off the list.
Yeah. Okay.
For some of you.
Sephiroth.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
I don't quite know if it's going to make my top 5.
Really? Well, you had a lot of quality games on your list.
Talking about FF7 or are you talking about Ghost of Tsushima top 5?
No, 7.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
But anyway, yes, I would just like the gift of time. I would like an extra week off from work on top of the 2 that I'm already.
At least you're not asking for anything outrageous.
Well, I'm gonna kind of get it. I got 2 weeks. It's just I really don't want to do anything for those 2 weeks. I don't want
you to shave for 2 weeks.
Decision.
You know what I mean? I haven't shaved for about a month. Can you digging it?
That's a month. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as other community members here, let's see. Brandon Smith said, I got a battery pack for my Oculus Quest a while ago. It works great, but where it rests on the back of my head, it presses against my skull and starts to get pretty uncomfortable after a while. I found a padded adapter for the harness that I put on my Amazon wishlist a while back, hoping Santa noticed. So a padded adapter for an Oculus Quest. I didn't even know that was a thing. I wore your Oculus Quest. I don't remember.
I think he's talking there's a padded adapter for the battery.
Oh, for the battery. Okay. Gotcha.
I actually saw one I actually was looking at one of those battery packs, but it was a clip-mounted one for your belt.
That makes sense.
Which, to me, I would probably prefer more than having extra weight on the back of my head.
True. I think I need to get a pair of gloves for when I use your Quest so that I don't knock those controllers against the wall like I did the one time I played.
I'm just going to put you in a padded room.
I seriously punched my drop ceiling while I was playing this Quest one day.
You punched the wall post.
Oh yeah, the load bearing wall down there.
There's still a nice scuff across my Quest.
Yeah, sorry about that. I said a Guardian thing. My arms are long. I can't help it. We had also Amanda Sink said the only one I can think of right now would be the new Assassin's Creed on PS4. And Quentin Thiedens also echoed that sentiment, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the 8-bit DOE SN30 Xbox edition. I did not know there was an Xbox edition of those controllers. I had the Super Nintendo one, and those controllers are legit. I have one of them, and they work great. Little Bluetooth thing that you can play, emulated games or PC games. Man, I was really impressed with that. So, yeah, very cool. Anyway, go ahead, CB.
I was actually looking at the Nintendo ones because they released like Super Dodgeball and the Double Dragon games on Xbox.
Yeah.
And I was like, do I do it?
Did you do it?
No.
Double Dragon. I played that a couple weeks ago. That game is a lot harder than I remember it being.
It really is.
Like, that is a tough game. Like, holy cow. Anyway, that was a fun topic, guys. Thanks so much for checking that out. Stay tuned for next week's topic. We have not decided what that's going to be yet. We're getting closer and closer to the Game of the Year episode. I know that's not going to be next week because CB, you're out next week, right?
Yep.
So it'll be just me and Zack unless we get someone to fill in that third chair. But we want to make sure that he's here for the Game of the Year episode. I'm still trying to track down Grant, who does the music for our show. He's always here every year for our Game of the Year episode. So hopefully that will happen as well. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Zack, any parting words before we get out of here?
Oh, man. I feel unprepared. No, I'm reading a lot of 90s Green Lantern comics, and they're awesome. So Wonder Girl is a surprisingly interesting character, if anyone is curious. The first one, Donna Troy. She's a single mother fighting a custody battle right now.
Mm-hmm.
You don't hear that every day as a storyline?
No, you don't.
No.
CB, how about you?
Still trying to work my way through Clone Wars. So I'm enjoying it.
I have to get that first season.
Yeah, that first season is just dragging for me.
I just didn't find it that terrible.
I'm struggling to get through it. I even have it on as background noise, and I'm bored.
I hate to say it. For me, it's the animation style.
Really?
You guys are not
going
to want to watch Rebels, then, from what I'm hearing here.
Well, it's not that I don't appreciate it. It's just it's a hard compared to what I'm normally used to.
Yeah,
so.
I guess the season one, I did check the timer more often of like, how far into this thing am I? But even in season 3 of Rebels, I'm still like, okay, I have to be halfway through this episode, right? Oh, 6 minutes. Okay. So.
Then I'm not a fan of the narration.
Oh, the opening narration? I hate it.
Yeah.
I hated it all the way through.
Is it the guy that's like super... meanwhile...
The wartime announcer guy? I cannot stand it. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? My favorite, you're going to laugh at me for bringing this up, my favorite Pinball FX table on Xbox, where I play it, is the Clone Wars table. Like, hands down, that is my go-to when I just want to chill because I know that table that well. But that announcer's voice is in the table, so you hear it quite often in there. But should check that out. There's seriously 15 Star Wars tables, and they're all legit. They're all really good. As for me, I can't remember if we talked about this last week, but I finally started listening to Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline.
I heard ungreat things.
I'm enjoying it.
Oh.
It's the same story. I mean, it's kind of the same thing that's going on. Got to go find, except instead of finding 3 Easter eggs, there's 7 crystals that he's got to find, and go through all this nostalgia fueled stuff in order to obtain them. But I don't know. I'm still enjoying it, and CB's given me a little bit of a preview. If you ever want to go into something completely spoiler free, don't ask CB about it.
Don't talk to me.
Seriously.
Because I get too excited.
I'm not going to say anything, but this happens.
CB does one of my biggest spoiler pet peeves, where it's like, it's not a spoiler, it happens right at the beginning. No, it is a spoiler. That's why you're excited to talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is like I'm like a kid with just like, I want to tell you things. I want to talk about things.
Mm-hmm. So I'm
not going to tell you anything, but when Batman got shot in the head, I couldn't believe they went that far.
But CB, you'll be happy to know I'm approaching the point that you were speaking of. I just came across a certain symbol that is what you're talking about. You know where I'm going with that. So.
I know where you're going with it.
Anyway, I haven't heard the reviews. Is it getting poorly reviewed? It's
getting crapped on.
Is it really? Because I'm enjoying it. I mean, Will Wheaton helps. Like I just really like listening to him narrate nerd stuff. That's pretty cool.
That's kind of his thing.
Yeah, apparently. But we'll see how it wraps up. I still think I liked Armada better than this one, and I still think Armada needs to be a film.
Armada is still my favorite of his 3 books.
Yeah, Armada is really good. It's basically The Last Starfighter, the book,
but better.
Well, yeah, it's the bar is not real high with. I love Last Starfighter.
Hey,
don't get me wrong.
Shut up! I love Last Starfighter.
I love Last Starfighter, but that's not high quality art. Let's be honest.
Hey, victory or death.
Never seen it.
You've never seen. Oh, guess what we're doing next time we all hang out together? We are watching. Okay, what's on the list now? We got to watch Last Starfighter. There was another movie that we all had to sit down and watch.
I still think we all need to sit down and watch The Wizard together.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Have you ever seen The Wizard?
Never seen The Wizard.
Oh my God, that's it. We got our
Jesus.
twofer right there. The Wizard and The Last Starfighter. We're gonna watch. I actually own The Wizard on iTunes, so we can watch that. And I own The Last Starfighter.
Perfect. All right. I guess
they're
I'm
both on the
roped into
Voodoo
that.
account too.
Oh man, I can't believe you've never seen The Last Starfighter. That movie. It
they-
looks awful by today's standards, but it was so rad back in the day.
They did a game, right? With like FMV cutscenes. Am I crazy? Or am I just thinking of Wing Commander?
It wasn't. That's Wing Commander.
Yeah, Wing
There was
Commander.
but there was an NES Last Starfighter.
It was
Okay.
terrible.
Mark
it's
Hamill was in
bad.
Wing Commander, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Wing Commander
Okay,
3.
all right. It's all coming
And
together
4.
for me.
Yeah. That was the first game I remember having romantic text choices or romantic dialogue choices, where your choices could determine which girl you wind up with.
That sounds cute.
That was a big thing for me in the 90s. But oh, Zach, now I can't wait. The three of us sitting down watching Last Starfighter together and The Wizard.
That needs to be a streamed thing.
That needs
like
to be
almost
a Patreon episode where we sit down
mystery
and talk
science, like a mystery science style.
I don't know. Do people really enjoy watching that? Like, I just hate watching people comment on movies.
Do you ever listen to commentary tracks?
I have like once or twice, but it's always like a movie that I've seen so many times that I don't need to watch the movie.
The Fight Club commentary track is gold.
I love Fight Club.
The commentary track on Snatch is gold.
That sounds like gold. For the Fight Club commentary track has Edward Norton being incredibly pretentious about how this movie's going to define a generation and how it's really going to like change the world of cinema, which I guess he kind of ended up being partially true. But just as he talks more, Brad Pitt just gets increasingly annoyed. It's pretty great because Brad Pitt's just like, it's a movie, man. You know, and Edward Norton's like, this is art. This is going to change people. The critics who are saying negative things about this because they don't get it, man. Like saying stuff like that.
Oh man, I have to go back. I've seen that movie 100 times. I got to go back and listen to it now.
It's pretty awesome.
That's great. Well, everybody out there, thank you so much for listening. The Gaming Outsider is produced by Nate Lucas, and all the music you hear in the episode is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemmage and Metroid Metal. His website is stemmagemusic.com. Stemmage is spelled STEMAGE. Be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson and Chris Behrensmeyer, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, There's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.